Well, this is a little blast from the past. Well, hi friends. It is so good to see all of you again from the roof. If you followed this channel for more than like a year and a half, you know that I used to do a Rooftop Tuesday show every single Tuesday where I got up on my roof and talked about filmmaking. So this week we're talking about the brand new Rode NTG5. It's a new microphone from Rode, and it kind of fits this weird place in between a long shotgun and more of a hypercardioid. It is still technically a shotgun mic, used for all shotgun purposes, but it is shorter. Now, full disclosure, Rode did send me this mic free of charge. They're not paying me anything to say anything negative or positive about the mic, just an unbiased review, my take on everything. Now, I could get into the full spec sheet for you, but instead I'd like to just let you listen to it. So let's listen in and the difference between the Rode NTG5 and the Rode NTG3. Rode NTG3 in my basement. Not very treated. Rode NTG3, longtime dialogue mic companion, one of my favorites of all time. I've used it on most all of my shoots and anytime I do field recording. Rode NTG5, the new guy, very little, much smaller than the NTG3, could potentially be an indoor replacement to the NTG3, which just excels when there's big spaces and outdoors. Rode NTG5. So Rode originally reached out to me in November, wanted to send this my way, get me to review it. And we had some shipping issues and things like that, and I got busy, and then I finally got it in late January of this year. And when I got it into the studio, I was ready to do a review, and then I decided to launch my new YouTube strategy where I only do one gear review a month. So this one was taking a back seat to the Zoom F6 review, which I did obviously a couple weeks ago. So anyway, under quarantine, for 30 days in the city, now with a home studio, I'm going to be doing a lot more gear reviews. So here we are, talking into the Rode NTG5, this little guy. You know, it's quite a bit shorter than the NTG3, and immediately just listening to the PFL, the pre-fade listen, it doesn't sound quite as warm and as rich, and that makes sense. It's a cheaper microphone. It doesn't cost quite as much as the NTG3, and the NTG3, in my opinion, is still the flagship microphone that Rode makes. So when we get these in a post, hear them back and forth, it'll be interesting to hear the comparison between the two. Many of you know that on this channel I really like reviewing microphones, especially microphones for filmmaking. And in this case, another shotgun microphone. Quick refresher on a shotgun, if you've never used one before, it has a tight pickup pattern, so it allows you to pick up exactly what's in front of it while trying to reject sounds on either side using a tube with a bunch of holes or slits in it to try to cancel out sounds that come from each side, giving you a clean pickup of what's in front of the mic. Now, this is important because in film applications, you want to keep the mic out of the frame, so if you put a shotgun above somebody, it can pick up who is talking at any given time without being in the frame, and that's why it's used a lot for filmmaking applications. Even the VideoMic Pro Plus, which is on top of the C100 right now, is technically a shotgun microphone. Wow, I've eaten a lot of junk food during this quarantine and had a lot of beer. Whew. Now, my initial impressions of the microphone when I first got it weren't necessarily that it was as warm as the NTG3. It had more of a flat sound. That to me didn't sound necessarily better. It was more like it just didn't have that richness that the NTG3 has. It is a cheaper price point, so that makes a lot of sense that it wouldn't sound quite as good, but I was really impressed with the mic's quality, as you just heard in the comparison between the two. Now, in that room where I was talking, there was no acoustic treatment. That is a playroom at the house that I'm living right now, which is the house that I own, but still you get a general idea of how the microphone sounds. One thing about the mic that is cool as well is that it does come as a kit, like a location recording kit. So it has a shock mount that you would attach to your boom pole to keep vibrations and other sounds from concussive movements out of the actual microphone. Because it is a condenser, it's quite sensitive, unlike a dynamic microphone, which is that magnetic coil that we've talked about in videos past that is not quite as sensitive as a condenser. So it comes with that. You can adjust that. It's good for setting it on some sort of a C-stand to do an interview type setting, or actually if you're booming out in the field doing location audio, it's excellent for that as well. So all of that is included in the $500 price point, the location recording kit. Now, taking a brief step down from the roof into the garage, we're going to do a few side-by-side comparisons of both these microphones as I record them into the Zoom F6. And also just a quick note about the new NTG5. The interference tube is a little bit shorter than the NTG3's. However, Rode says the pickup pattern is the same. So if I step to the side of these mics and talk over here, you can tell how it rejects my sound. So we're going to do a test of the NTG3's ability to reject the sound next to it. And we're going to do a test of the NTG5's ability to reject the sound next to it. This is where a shotgun mic shines because it only picks up what's in its pattern, and anything outside of its pattern, sorry for that plosive, is going to be rejected. And it's going to be trying to completely reject those sounds. Obviously you can still hear me, but I sound further away, and if I just scoot up like 6 inches, then suddenly I'm crystal clear again at the front of the mic in the pickup pattern. So that is a side-by-side between these two, just a loose, poor man's test of the pickup patterns of both these microphones. So this is going to be a self-noise test of both mics. First, NTG3. NTG5. And again, they're going into the F6. So we're going to check the preamps on the F8 now. Now in my hands, I have the Zoom F8. Both of these coming into it. And line number 1 is going to be the NTG3 self-noise test. With a baby crying for her dada. And then a self-noise test of the NTG5. Hard. Making YouTube videos in the COVID crisis. Now, when Rode put out all their materials on these two microphones, they released a lot about the interference tube in the NTG5. And they were able to shorten that up by using these precisely drilled holes rather than the typical slits or slots you see on a shotgun microphone. We're back on the Zoom F6. So here's both the mics. You can see the NTG5 is considerably shorter. If you compare interference tubes, the interference tube is also considerably shorter. If that'll focus on for me. And you can see the signature little bullet holes in this one and the slits in this one. They're both about the same diameter, and the NTG5 is quite a bit lighter than the NTG3. Shotgun mics for you, for your health. Now the way I typically approach a review is kind of the standard, how does it sound, how does it function, and what does it cost? And the overall takeaway from this one is it sounds really good. It doesn't have the rich warmth of the Big Brother NTG3. It's got a really nice balanced dialogue style sound to it. And it's an excellent mic for using in the field, using for freelance production, putting it on your camera if you have a cinema style camera. Overall, it sounds really good. Functionality is the same as a typical shotgun in its price point or above. You need 48 volts to power it. It is RF biased. It has an interference tube. It has a tight pickup pattern, just like a standard shotgun mic should. And with a cost of $500 that also includes a location audio kit. This is a very serious microphone, and if you are trying to find a good microphone to make professional style video production or even voiceovers, you shouldn't pass up the Rode NTG5. So there is an affiliate link for that down below. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Tuning into this first Rooftop Tuesday since 2018, which is a big deal. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.